So, the following evening, I brought Jim over for dinner. I'd known Jim slightly in high school. High school, Jim was a hero. He had tremendous Irish good nature and vitality with that scrubbed and polished look of white chinaware. He was the president of the debating team, the senior class, the glee club, and he sang the male lead in the annual light opera. I was important to Jim as someone who recognized his former greatness. I'd seen him win all those basketball games, the Silver Cup in debating. Jim knew of my practice of retiring to the cabinet of the washroom, working on my poetry when business was slack at the warehouse. He called me Shakespeare. I knew that Jim and Laura had known each other in high school. I don't remember if Jim remembered Laura or not. If he did, it wasn't as my sister. For when I invited him over for dinner, he said, "You know, Shakespeare, I never thought of you as having folks." He was about to find out I did.
Hold still. Honey, why are you trembling so?
Mother, you've made me so nervous.
How have I made you nervous?
By all this fuss. You make it all seem so important.
Laura, I don't understand you. Every time I try to do something just the least bit different, you just seem to set yourself up against it. All right, now come here. Oh, wait a minute. I have an idea.
What is it now, Mother?
A couple of little improvements. When I was a girl, we called them gay deceivers.
I won't wear them.
Well, of course you will.
Oh, why should I?
Oh, honey, to be perfectly honest, you need a little help in that area.
You make it seem like we're setting a trap.
We are setting a trap. All pretty girls are a trap, and all men expect them to be. Now, take a look. Oh, isn't that lovely? You look like an angel on a postcard. Now, I'm going to run on out and get myself all fixed up. You're going to be astonished at your mother's appearance. Oh, I found this old dress in a trunk. Wasn't much of it left. Oh, Laura. It nearly broke my heart when I had to let it out. Oh. Is that thunder? No. All right, Laura. Get ready. And take a look at your mother.
Oh, Mother, how lovely.
Well, it used to be. It used to be. Had a lot of little flowers all over it. But they got kind of old. And I had to take them all off. I lived a cotillion in this dress a long time ago. And I won the cakewalk twice at Sunset Hill. I wore it to the governor's ball in Jackson. Laura, you should have seen your mother just sashaying away across that floor. And I had it on the night I met your father. Oh, I had a little malaria fever all that spring. Not enough to be dangerous, just enough to make me feel giddy and restless. Oh, it was lovely. Invitations just poured in. Parties all over the Delta. Mother said, "Honey, you have to stay in bed. You have a fever." But I just wouldn't. I took quinine and I kept on going and going. Dances every night. And afternoons, long drives in the country and picnics. Oh, Laura, that country in May, so lovely. All lacy with dogwood and literally flooded with jonquils. Jonquils became an absolute obsession. Mother said, "Honey, you can't bring in any more jonquils. We have no more vases to hold them." So I said, "All right, and I'll hold some myself." Then I met your father. Malaria fever. Your father. And jungles. Wow, it doesn't rain before they get here. Now, I gave your brother some extra change so that he and Mr. O'Connor could take the service car home.
What did you say his name was?
Mr. O'Connor, why?
Is he the same one that Tom knew in high school?
I don't know. I think he just met him at the warehouse.
There was a Jim O'Connor we both knew in high school. If that is the one that Tom is bringing to dinner, you'll have to excuse me. I won't come to the table.
Now, what is all this silly talk?
You asked me once if I ever liked a boy. You remember I showed you his picture?
You mean the boy in the yearbook?
Yes, that boy.
Oh, Laura, were you in love with that boy?
I don't know. All I know is I couldn't sit at the table if it was him.
Well, it won't be him. It's not the least bit likely. And if it were, you will come to the table and you will not be excused.
I'll have to be, Mother.
Now, Laura, I do not intend to humor your silliness. Now, I've had enough of that from your brother and you. Now, come on over here and sit down and compose yourself. Now, your brother has forgotten his keys, so you're going to have to let them in.
Oh, Mother, you answer the door.
Well, how can I? I haven't even finished the mayonnaise dressing for the salmon.
Oh, Mother, please answer the door. Don't make me do it.
Oh, honey, please be reasonable. What is all this fuss about? It's just one gentleman caller. That's all. Just one. Laura, the door.
Mother, you answer it.
What is the matter with you? Why have you taken this moment to lose your mind? Go to the door. I can't. Why can't you?
I'm sick.
You're sick. I'm sick too of your nonsense. Why can't you and your brother ever act like normal children? Now give me one good reason why you're afraid to go to a door. Go to the door. Laura Wingfield, you march straight to that door.
Yes, Mother.
I have to put courage in you for living.
Laura. This is Jim. Jim, this is my sister Laura.
Well, I didn't know that Shakespeare had a sister.
How do you do?
Okay. Your hand's cold, Laura.
Well, I was just playing the Victrola.
Ah, you must have been playing some classical music on it. You should play a little hot swing music, warm some things up a little.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I haven't finished playing the Victrola.
What's the matter?
Oh, with Laura? Laura's terribly shy.
Shy, huh? Awfully unusual to meet a shy girl nowadays. You know, Shakespeare, I don't believe you ever mentioned you had a sister.
Yeah, well, now you know. I've got a sister. Here's the Post-Dispatch. You want a piece?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want, the comics?
Sports. Dizzy Dean and his bad behavior.
Yeah.
Well, where you going?
Out on the terrace.
You know, Shakespeare, I'm going to sell you the bill of goods.
What goods?
Course I'm taking.
Huh?
Public speaking. You and me, we're not the warehouse type.
Well, that's good news, but what has public speaking got to do with it?
Well, it fits you for executive positions.
No.
You ask yourself, what is the difference between you and me and the men down front? Brains? No. Ability? No. Then what? Primarily it amounts to one little thing.
Well, what is that little thing?
Well, being able to hold your own on any social level.
Tom!
Oh, yes, Mother?
That you and Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother.
Well, you all make yourselves comfortable out there.
Yes, Mother.
Ask Mr. O'Connor if he'd like to wash his hands.
No. No, thank you. I took care of that at the warehouse. Tom,
What?
Mr. Mendoza was speaking about you.
Favorably?
What do you think?
Well,
You're going to be out of a job if you don't wake up.
I am waking up.
You show no signs.
The signs are interior. I'm planning on changing.
Oh.
I'm about to commit myself to a future that doesn't involve the warehouse or Miss Mendoza or even a night school course in public speaking.
What are you gassing about?
I'm sick of the movies.
Movies?
Movies, yes, look at them. All those Hollywood stars having all the glamour, gobbling it all up. And you know what happens? People go to the movies instead of moving. Hollywood stars have all the adventures for everybody in America, while everybody in America sits in a dark room and watches them have them. Yes, until there's a war. That's when adventure becomes available to the masses. Now everyone's dish, not only Gable's. That's when the people come out of the dark room and have a little adventure of their own. Oh, goody goody, it's our turn now to go to the South Sea Island, to have a safari, to be exotic and far off. Well, you know what? I'm not patient. I'm tired of waiting. I'm sick of the movies and I'm about to move.
Move?
Yes.
When?
Soon.
Where? Where?
I'm boiling inside. I know I sound dreamy, but inside I'm boiling. Every time I put a shoe on, I think of myself, how short life is and what I'm doing. Whatever that means. I know it doesn't mean shoes except for something you wear on a traveler's feet. Look.
What?
I'm a member.
The Union of Merchant Seamen.
I paid my dues this month instead of a lighting bill.
You'll regret that when they turn out the light.
I won't be here.
Well, what about your mother?
Like my father. Bastard son of a bastard. Did you see him grinning in that picture over there? He's been gone going on 16 years.
You're just talking, you drip. How does your mother feel about it?
Shh. Mother's not acquainted with my plans.
Why y'all?
Oh, out on the terrace.
Well, why'd you all come on in?
Mother, you look so pretty.
You know, that is the first compliment you have ever given me. I wish you'd look pleasant when you're about to say something pleasant, so I know to expect it. So, this is Mr. O'Connor.
How do you do, ma'am?
Well, introductions are entirely unnecessary because I've heard so much about you from my boy. I finally said, good gracious, Tom, why don't you bring this paragon home to supper instead of just singing his praises all the time? I would like to meet that young man from the warehouse. I don't know why my boy is so standoffish. That is not Southern behavior. Well, let's sit down. Let's sit down. Tom, I think we need a little more air in here. You want to leave the door open? I felt a nice fresh breeze a moment ago. I don't know where it went to. So warm already and not even summer yet. We're going to burn up when summer finally gets here. However, we are having a light supper because I think light things are better for this time of year. Same as light clothes and light food are what warm weather calls for because you know our blood gets so thick in the winter that it takes a little while for us to readjust ourselves when the season changes. But it's gone so quick this year. I just wasn't prepared. Good heavens! Already summertime. So I just ran to the truck and I pulled out this light dress. Terribly old, practically historical. But you know, it feels so good and cool.
Mother,
Yes, honey?
how about supper?
Well, you have to ask Sister about supper. Now, you know Sister is in full charge of supper. You just tell her that you two hungry boys are waiting for her. Well, no, that's sweet. Did you meet Laura?
She opened the door.
She let you in.
Yes, ma'am.
She is pretty, isn't she?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You know, it is so rare for a young girl who is as sweet and pretty as Laura is to also be domestic. But Laura is, thank heavens, not only sweet and pretty, but very, very domestic. Now, I'm not at all. I never could make anything but angel food cake. But you see, in the South, well, we had so many servants. Gone, gone, gone. All vestiges of gracious living just gone completely. See, I wasn't prepared for what life had in store for me. All my gentlemen callers were planters, sons of planters, so naturally I just assumed that I would marry one of them, and I'd raise my family on a large plot of land with lots and lots of servants. But man proposes, and woman accepts the proposal to marry that old saying just a little bit. No, I married no planter. I married that gallantly smiling gentleman over there. A man who worked for the telephone company and fell in love with long distance. Now he travels and I don't even know where. Oh my, what am I going on for like that about my tribulation? You tell me about yours. Oh, but I hope you don't have any. Tom!
Yes, Mother?
Well, honey, what about supper?
Looks like supper's already on the table.
Well, so it is. Oh, isn't that lovely? Now, where's Laura?
Laura said she's not feeling very well and thought it best if she didn't come to the table.
Laura, honey, we can't say grace until you come to the table.
Laura!
Honey, standing over that hot stove has just made her ill. I told her it was just too warm. Oh, Mr. O'Connor, won't you sit down, please? And would you like some dandelion wine?
Well, all right. Thank you, ma'am.
Tom, is she all right?
Yes.
Oh, my. Looks like we're going to have some rain. Tom, would you say grace?
No thanks, Mother.
Honey, what do we do when we sit down before we have dinner? We say grace, don't we?
For these and all thy blessings, God's holy name be praised.
Mr. O'Connor, I haven't had such a lovely evening in a long, long time.
Well, let me give you a toast, ma'am. Here's to the Old South.
To the Old South.
Oh, hey, Mr. Lightbulb.
Oh, it was Moses when the lights went out. You know the answer to that one?
No, ma'am, I do not. What is the answer to that?
Well, I knew one answer, but it wasn't very nice. I thought maybe you knew another one.
No, ma'am, I do not.
Well, it's a good thing I put this candle on the table. I only put it on for decoration. But it's nice when it proves useful, too. Maybe one of you gentlemen could strike a match and we could have a little illumination.
Well, I believe I can do that, ma'am.
Well, I guess it's a burnt-out fuse. You know anything about burnt-out fuses, Mr. O'Connor?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. Where is the fuse box?
Oh, you have to know that also. It's back there in the kitchen. Now, don't you stumble on anything because it's dark out there.
Oh!
It would be awful if we lost him. Oh, Mr. O'Connor, are you all right?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I'm all right.
Mr. O'Connor, oh. You know, I think electricity is very mysterious. Of course, I think the whole universe is mysterious. Wasn't it Benjamin Franklin that tied a key to a kite? Oh, I would have loved to have seen that. He must have looked awfully silly. Did you find it all right?
Yes, ma'am, I did, but the fuses looked okay to me.
Tom! You remember that light bill I gave you a few days ago? The one I got the notice about?
Oh, you mean last month's bill?
You didn't neglect it, did you?
Oh, well,
You did. I might have known.
Well, now maybe Shakespeare here wrote a poem on that light bill.
Maybe he did, too. Well, it was nice of them to let us finish our dinner before they plunged us into everlasting darkness. Tom, as a penalty for your negligence, You may help me with the dishes.
Oh, well, may I be of some help, ma'am?
Oh, isn't that nice?
Ought to be good for something.
What did I hear?
Well, I said I ought to be good for something.
That's what I thought I heard. Mr. O'Connor, Laura's all by her lonesome up front. Would you like to keep her company? Now, I can give you this lovely old candle for light, and I'd like for Laura to have a little bit of dandelion wine. You think you can manage both of those?
Well, I sure can try, ma'am.
All right, Tom. Come and get into your apron.
Hello there, Laura.
Hello.
How you feeling now? Any better?
Yes, thank you.
Here's a little dandelion wine for you. Drink it, but don't get drunk. Where shall I set the candle?
Oh, anywhere?
Has anyone ever told you you're pretty, Laura? Because you are. In a very different sort of way from anyone else, and all the nicer because of the difference.
In what way am I pretty?
Oh, in every way, Laura. Somebody should build your confidence up. Make you proud instead of turning away and being shy and blushing. Somebody ought to kiss you, Laura. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I am not in a position to do the right thing. I can't say I'll pick up the phone and ask for a date or come by and call.
You won't call?
No. I thought it best I explain the situation to you in case you misunderstood it or maybe got your feelings hurt. I got strings on me, Laura. I'm going steady with a girl, lovely girl named Betty. And she's like you, Catholic and Irish and a homespun girl. In a great many ways we get along fine. And Betty's aunt took sick, and so when Tom invited me to dinner, naturally I accepted the invitation, not knowing that you and that he and that I... I sure wish you'd say something, Laura. What are you doing? You want me to have him? Laura, what for?
A souvenir.
Children, I'm coming. I thought you children might like a little liquid refreshment. Honey, Mr. O'Connor. Mr. Carter, have you heard that song about lemonade? Lemonade, lemonade, made in the shade and stirred with a spade, good enough for any old maid.
No, ma'am, can't say I've heard that one.
Well, honey, you look so serious.
Well, we were just having a serious conversation.
I don't understand you modern young people. When I was a girl, I was just gay about everything.
You have not changed, Ms. Wingfield.
Well, the gaiety of the occasion has rejuvenated me. I found some cherries out there in the kitchen, so I put one in every glass. So here's to the gaiety of the occasion.
You shouldn't have gone through all that trouble, Ms. Wingfield.
Trouble? Oh, it wasn't any trouble. The tears cutting up out there. I was so outdone with Tom for not bringing you over sooner. Now that you know the way, I want you to come all the time. Not just once in a while, but all the time. Now I'm just going to run on back to the kitchen.
No, ma'am. The truth of the matter is I actually have to be going.
Oh, but Mr. O'Connor, it's just the shank of the evening.
Well, you know how it is.
You mean because you're a young working man, you have to keep working men's hours?
Something like that.
Well, all right. We'll let you off early this time, but only on the condition that next time you stay later. Much, much later. Now, what is the best evening for you? Is it Saturday?
Well, actually, the truth of the matter is I actually have a couple of time clocks to punch. One at morning and another one at night.
My, you are ambitious. You work nights too?
No, ma'am. Not work, but, Betty.
Betty? Who's Betty?
She's just a girl. The girl I go steady with.
Is it serious?
Yes, ma'am, it is. We are going to be married the second Sunday in June.
Tom didn't say anything at all about your being engaged to be married.
Well, the cat's not out of the bag down in the warehouse yet. You know how they tease you, make fun of you, call you Romeo and stuff like that. Well, this has been a wonderful evening. I guess this is what they mean by Southern hospitality.
Nothing at all, nothing at all.
Well, I hope you ladies don't think that I'm rushing off, but I promised Betty I'd pick her up down at the Wabash Depot, and by the time I get my jalopy down there, her train will be in. Some women can get pretty upset if you keep them waiting.
Yes, I know all about the tyranny of women. Goodbye, Mr. O'Connor. And I want to wish you happiness and good fortune. And you wish him that too, don't you, Laura?
Yes, I do.
Well, thank you. Goodbye, Laura. Laura, I will always treasure that souvenir. Hey, so long, Shakespeare. Ladies, good night.
Well. Things have a way of turning out so badly. Oh, Laura, I wouldn't play that Victrola now. Well. So our gentleman caller was engaged to be married. Tom,
Yes, Mother.
come out here a minute. I have something very funny to tell you.
Oh, did our gentleman caller get away so soon?
Yes, he made an early departure. And that was a very funny joke you played on us.
How do you mean?
You didn't tell us that he was engaged to be married.
Jim engaged?
That's what he just informed us.
I'll be jiggered, I didn't know that.
That seems peculiar to me.
What's peculiar about it?
Didn't you say he was your best friend at the warehouse?
He is, but how did I know?
It seems peculiar to me that you didn't know that your best friend was engaged to be married.
The warehouse is where I work, not where I go to know things about people.
You don't know things anywhere. You live in a dream world. You manufacture illusions. Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies.
Oh, that's right. Now that you've had us make such fools of ourselves, the effort, the preparation, the expense, the new curtains, the new floor lamp, and the clothes for Laura, and for what? To entertain some other girl's fiancé? Oh, go on. Go to the movies. Don't think about us. A mother deserted, an unmarried sister who's crippled and has no job. Don't let anything interfere with your selfish pleasure. Go on. Go to the movies.
All right, I will. more you shout about my selfishness, the quicker I'll go. And I won't go to the movies.
Go on! Go to the moon, you selfish dreamer!
I didn't go to the moon. I went much farther. For time is the longest distance between two places. Shortly after that, I was fired for writing a poem on the lid of a shoebox. I love St. Louis. I descended the steps of this fire escape for a last time. And from then on, I followed in my father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what was lost in space. I traveled around a great deal. The cities swept about me like dead leaves. Leaves that were brightly colored, but torn away from their branches. I would have stopped, but I was pursued by something. It always caught me unawares, taking me altogether by surprise. Perhaps it was a familiar piece of music. Perhaps it was only a piece of transparent glass. Perhaps I am walking down a city street, through an unfamiliar city before I've met companions. I stop at the lighted window of a perfume shop. Windows filled with tiny bottles that reflect the light in delicate little rainbows. All of a sudden, my sister touches my arm. I turn and I look into her eyes. Laura. Laura, I tried to leave you behind. I'm more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run to a bar or the movies, buy a drink, talk to a stranger. Anything that'll blow out your candles. For nowadays, the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candles. So goodbye.